Plop Andrei. Dacia and ARO. A history of success and failure. What is Dacia for Romanians? Is it a national symbol or just a car? The Dacian Wars of Trajan were two military campaigns of the Roman Emperor Trajan against the Dacian kingdom of Despolis in 101 to 102 and 105 to 106. However, the Roman Empire did not occupy the entirety. Most of Moldavia remained under the Free Dacians. Dacia was born in 1966 in Colibașii, today Mioveni, Argeș department, on the basis of an agreement between the Romanian communist authorities and the French car manufacturer Renault. Dacia 1300, entered production in August 1969, licensed model R12. ARO, 1957, they start production of the model called IMS 57. IMS stood for State Metallurgical Enterprise and 57 meant year of launch. In 1964, the ARO M461 appeared, the latest version based on the GAZ 69 model. The first complete example of the ARO 24 series was presented in 1969, Bucharest, Romania. In 1972, the first ARO from the 24 series began to be sold. ARO Series 24/1972, Mercedes-Benz G-Class 1979. Mercedes, as the G-Wagon hits the historic milestone of 500,000 units, we take the time to delve into the vehicle's rich history, design, and features that make it a true icon of the automotive industry. April 20, 2023 / Price, $143,000. ARO was also built in Portugal, under the name Portero, but also in Spain, under the name Hispero. In the early 1980s, ARO achieved global success, ranking fourth in the world in terms of the number of off-road vehicles sold and sales markets, after Jeep, Land Rover, and Toyota. 90% of ARO cars were intended for export and only 10% of ARO cars were intended for Romanians. The Romanian Revolution of 1989 was a coup d'état facilitated by a series of riots and protests which took place in December 1989, in the Socialist Republic of Romania, and which resulted in the overthrow of the communist regime. The execution of the dictator Nicolae Ceausescu and his wife and the proclamation of a Republican and democratic Romania. The factory ceased to have a future in the late 1980s. The main reason why ARO fell was that foreign car factories moved towards higher technology and Romanians stopped investing in the development of technology, and after the revolution ARO cars were sold in Romania because all Romanians wanted an ARO car and the company managers took advantage of this desire of Romanians. These companies were sort of car dealerships. They took the cars out of the factory at a low price and sold them to the public at a high price. The executives sold the cars through dealerships that also belonged to these executives, and the final price with which they bought an ARO was 500% more expensive. Ion Tirac wanted to convince the people of Mercedes-Benz to invest in ARO and went with several representatives of the German brand to Campulang after the revolution. According to some sources who wish to remain anonymous, even the unions are behind this failure, as well as other investment attempts by foreign companies. Everyone steals from the ARO company, employees steal auto parts, the managers get rich thanks to the car dealerships that still belong to them, and the company enters a period of crisis. The difference in money was covered by funds from the state budget, but only until 1996, when state aid stopped and debts reached up to $30 million, according to the restructuring study of September 9, 1996. The solution found by management was to lay off 1,000 employees. In 2002, when their salaries had been unpaid for several months, ARO workers published information in the press that was picked up by the media around the world. Members of the Solidaritatea Union, led by Ion Codescu, were seriously considering giving sperm to save the company from the collapse. There was even a declaration signed by the union leader which ended with an economic financial feasibility study intended to get the company out of trouble. On September 26, 2003, the Authority for Privatization and Administration of State Holdings, APOPS, signed the contract with the company Crosslander USA, headed by John Perez. In exchange for a minimal amount, $153,000, Perez became the proud owner of the automobile industry and pledged to invest more than $15 million to launch a new ARO model. Perez's company was nothing more than a mailbox somewhere in Miami, United States, and the original name was ARO Distributors. What do the ARO factory and the Dacia factory look like today? John Perez, controversial personage, American merchant of Cuban origin, Perez vend lucine de autos et de matrices, even though, according to the contract, he was not allowed to alienate anything from industrial platforms. The new owner received $2.7 million for the sale, but that's not all, because under the direction of Perez, the machines were sold to the scrapyard, under the pretext that they were simply selling machines Dacia Mises have refused. In 2006, ARO went bankrupt and the last employees were dismissed. Dacia becomes a brand of the Renault Group. At the end of the 1990s, after long negotiations, a new agreement was concluded between Dacia and Renault. The contract was signed in Bucharest on July 2, 1999 and provided for industrialization under the Dacia brand. The Renault Group buys 51% of Dacia shares for $50 million and commits to making investments of $219 million by 2003. Dacia sold 573,800 vehicles in 2022, 6.8% more than the previous year. The Renault Group announced in its annual report that the Dacia brand recorded total sales of 658,321 cars worldwide in 2023, an increase of 14.7%, which represents 30% of the total sales of the French Renault Group. In 2022, the Romanian brand Dacia has exceeded the symbolic threshold of 8 million cars sold since the launch of the Logan model in 2004. Carlos Ghosn on Dacia, it's a cash cow. Luca De Meo on Dacia, it's a golden nugget. The decision not to change the name of the car Dacia was a good decision, because Dacia is a national symbol for Romanians. Plop Andrei. Thank you for your attention.